Yeah, I saw where somebody had put a 1400 engine into a 1 litre car like mine, but it done a complete engine swap and swapped the gearbox and had to swap the engine management computer and all that. Well, I wouldn't have to swap the gearbox because yeah, they used to put Ford engines into Austin Minis onto the original gearbox because you couldn't get another gearbox that would work with an Austin Mini unless you had really modified it heavily. But then you'd probably have to rear wheel drive it or something like that. But yeah, they used to put Lotus engines, Lotus twin cams onto Austin Mini gearboxes with an adapter plate or two. Well, one for the gearbox, one for the clutch, and you'd have to have a special tail for the crankshaft. But then the engines usually come with a flywheel on the crankshaft because it's completely different setup on an Austin Mini. The engine was on top of the gearbox, so the clutch was in the flywheel. Well, it's connected to the flywheel, but that's a whole assembly drove a system of gears. It didn't go straight into the input shaft of the gearbox like it does on most cars. They were unique with Austin Minis. Well, the first Austin from and Morris front wheel drive cars, Minis, Allegros, Maxis, and 1300s and 1100s, they all had that type of engine in. But yeah, it was unique to those cars. Now they're literally the same as the rear wheel drive cars, but turned sideways, and they have two outputs from the differential, one for each front wheel. Whereas with a rear wheel drive gearbox, you only have one output, and the differential was between the rear wheels, and it drove them through that. So I do know what I'm talking about and what I'm doing.